Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and welcome to a work along vlog. I don't really know what to call this because I'm like not really a tutorial, but I'm kind of just like showing you how I made a sweater, a vest. So like a work along vlog, you can kind of use this as a tutorial. No, not really, but this is just me showing you a cool thing that I made that I'm happy about. So yay! So you saw from the title, I wanted to make a ONEW concert sweater for his concert because in February I made this sweater for the Taemin concert, and I have never really tapestry crocheted before, and I did this and I was just like, I just couldn't believe, honestly, I was like, I really ate with this. I really feel like, not to toot my own horn, but like, I ate. I was so happy with this, and like, this was such a rushed job, because like, I didn't really know how to make a sweater, so like the armholes are like too high, and so they kind of bunch weird, and the front panel is single crocheted, but the sleeves and the back panel are double crocheted, because I just didn't have time to do any of that, and then like the inside is like absolutely not finished. Like, it was just like, I'm really happy with how it turned out, and here are some pictures of the at the Taemin concert, and it looked so good. I don't feel cute that often, but I felt so cute that day. I was like, this is the best. I'm so happy, and it got a lot of good reception, and so I was just like, I want to do this now for every concert. I think I've cursed myself that I want to do this for every concert. And the day of my Taemin show, ONEW announced his US tour, and I was like, well, the universe heard me say that I think I've cursed myself to make sweaters for everybody, and so it went, okay, here's another concert for you to make a sweater to. And so I had about a month, and I was like, I'm gonna make a sweater for ONEW, because I just couldn't not do it. Now I'm like, well, I've made it for 2 of the members. Honestly, I might just make a sweater slash top something for the other 3 members. I'm still maybe holding out hope that Key will tour, because I know he's going to KCON LA, but like, maybe he'll tour, and that would be great, because I want to make like a weather specific thing. Obviously I saw Taemin in February, so I made a full sweater. I saw ONEW in April, in April, right at the end of April, and it was a vest. Obviously I'm filming this after the fact, so I already know what the sweater looks like, but you will see as well. I was actually initially, here's my initial sketch. This is what I initially was going to do, because there is that sweater, that cardigan he wore in his, was it ONEW Note? Beyond Live, like the live stream thing he did for his concert, and that cardigan like changed my life. I love that cardigan. I actually have another cardigan made in this green fabric, because I was like, I just love that green. I love that cardigan. I love the flowers. So I was like, that's what I want to base it on. So initially I was going to put sleeves on this sweater, and I was going to put flowers on the sleeves, and it was going to be super cute. So it was going to more match this one with the sleeves, but be, you know, different. But I was also going to put a back pattern on, because the front pattern has Jingu King and Jingniang, his 2 like characters, on it, but there's no text, so I thought it would be easier, so I was like, I'm going to put a back panel on it, and that was sort of my initial idea, and then I ended up not putting sleeves on it, because I realized the concert at the end of April, like, it's probably going to be too hot for a sweater, and not putting sleeves on it cuts my time by like half of what I need to spend on it, so that I ended up making more of a vest instead of a sweater, I guess. A sweater vest. Those are things. It's a sweater vest. But I really hope that this will be a fun video for you guys. I'm really happy with how it turned out, so I'm excited for you guys to see. And with that being said, because I'm going to do some voiceover on there, so I'll stop yapping in this intro segment, let us see the creation of the sweater. So yes, this sweater was done using the Tapestry crochet skill, or like technique, I think. I don't necessarily know. I think there must be different ways of doing this type of technique. This isn't like, I know I've seen some where people have gotten like really pixel square looking stitches. This is not that. This is basically just a single crochet with changing the colors, which is I think what tapestry crochet is. I'm not sure, but you'll see here I do end up doing a little bit of a tutorial type thing a little bit later in this video, but it is just single crochets and then switching colors. So if you have ever single crocheted and you've ever switched colors, you can do this technique. And what I decided to do is I'm following the pattern like pretty completely. I did add, I think, maybe 1 or 2 rows to the bottom, just so that it's easier for me to hold on to while I'm doing the color changes and to give it a little bit more length. I just figured like I'll add a little bit. I should have probably added an extra row maybe to the top because I feel like it ends a little abruptly, which you'll see later, but that's not so bad. I also am surprisingly not very good at math, but was pretty good at counting, which is crazy because this pattern was 60 stitches, but obviously I needed a little bit extra, especially around my hips area. I definitely needed more. So I think I ended up having an extra 16 stitches on each side. So that's what the stitch marker's for. I would count the 16 stitches, put a stitch marker in, and then know that that was time to move into the pattern. And I find that the hardest part of doing this is when you are going on like the back, when you do one stitch one way and then turn the piece around and do the stitch the other way. That was a little confusing because I needed to make sure that the yarn stayed like in front of me instead of being pulled behind me. So it was just something to get used to. Once I was used to it, it wasn't so bad, but it definitely made things a little bit more confusing at the beginning. This is definitely the kind of thing though where I just like got into the zone. I was like, we're just doing this, and I found that like I could still listen to like a YouTube video while I was doing this and was able to count. Again, I really didn't have to frog very much of this at all. Like I only really had to frog like a little piece at the end. Like I did very well with, or maybe a couple times I would notice like in the row, like, oh, I miscounted. But for the most part, like it worked out pretty well. And there might have been maybe a few times where I did mess up and I didn't notice, but because the stitches aren't like perfectly square, like I feel like if it's off by 1 stitch on 1 row, it doesn't really matter that much, you know? And it's also like I wasn't trying to make this look like it was done by a machine. Like I want it to look handmade. So I was like, if there's a mistake, that's okay. I will survive. But it definitely got easier as we got farther up because then there was a little bit less color changes. Well, I guess sort of. With like, because it was always like change into the black, then go into the white. But there was definitely, I loved the rows when there was like only changes into the black, into the white, into the green. That was really nice and lovely. But yeah, and the benefit of this pattern or the way that it exports is that it groups them into stitches of 5 by 5. So I was able to like count, okay, like 5, 10, 15, 20 of one stitch just based on the little groupings that it made. So that definitely helped me do my counting a lot easier. Also, this outfit here, except for the pants, is my dance outfit. I'm in a K-pop dance class, and this is my very wonderful hip-hop outfit. We're doing a medley of Perfume by NCT's Dojaejang, that subunit, and then we're doing Blood, Sweat, and Tears by BTS and Bouncy by ATEEZ as like a little medley. So I was clearly just about to go to a dance class in this, but yeah, I'm very excited. My performance is at the end of this month and I'm very nervous, but I think it'll all be fine. I know the moves. I definitely don't have the swagger that these K-pop idols do, but like we're good enough. But yeah, this again, like I only had about a month to work on this, and surprisingly, it like was done not right before, like I was in Calgary for a little bit before the concert, but which is not where I live. So I did have to like travel with like all my yarn for this, but like this actually did not take me that long. It was definitely easier than the Timin one because there was a little bit less detail because both characters are white and there's no text. So it definitely was a little bit easier. And I knew what I was doing because I had just done it with the Timin sweater. So the benefit of doing something more than once is you get faster. It's so crazy, isn't it? All right, crash course on how to tapestry crochet. First, you need an image like this. It needs to be a pixelated image, so whether you do that yourself by like digitally pixelating it, or do what I did for this, which is use a embroidery pattern maker thing. It is from an app called Stitchly, I think. That's not sponsored by it. It's just the one that I found that you're able to take an image and it turns it into an embroidery pattern. But obviously, this works just as well for tapestry crochet. Each square represents a stitch, basically. And in terms of how to change colors, that's what I will show you now. Don't look at the back. We don't look at that. I'm not doing it so that it looks nice on both sides. This will be a sweater. You will never see the inside. So we're just making the outside look semi-nice, except for the parts where I made boo-boos. But we don't need to look at that either. It's fine. It's handmade. Wonderful. So what do? You get to the point where you're going to need to change your color. And if you're like me and your yarn gets all tangled, that's okay. That's fine. You can cut it at any point. Nothing matters. So what you do is say I'm going to change the color on this black stitch here. So now I need to change, so on the stitch before it, where the stitch before you're changing colors, insert the yarn, or insert the hook, yarn over, so you have the two, and instead to normally finish the stitch, you would pull through all of them. But you're not going to do that with the original colored yarn. You're going to put that yarn behind, grab the yarn color that you need. For me, in this case, it is black. And then use that yarn to yarn over. And then you can just I take the green and I sort of like pull on the end just to make it a little sort of tighter. And then you make the stitch that you need. And now, because I only needed one stitch here, I'm not going to complete this stitch either. I'm going to grab the next color that I need, which is white. And we're going to yarn over, pull through, and again we can tighten the black stitch a little bit, and then we can finish the stitch. And so you'll see that's how you get it so that it doesn't like be off-centered by one, because if you didn't do that, the stitch before, then it would be like just sort of off-centered a little bit. But that makes it a lot easier. So you just have to remember the stitch before to do the color change. But then, so I'll show you that again once I get to this next section that I need to color, or change the color for. Okay, so again, we will now be changing colors for this. So I'm on the stitch before I need to change the color, yarning through, or to insert the hook, into the middle of the stitch. This is not really a tutorial, so hopefully you already sort of know how to crochet, but then instead of finishing the stitch, drop the color, pick up the new color. And this can be done whether it's attached to the piece or not. If it is attached to the piece, just like leave it a little loose just so that it's not pulling weirdly on your project, but then yarn over, pull through so that you finish that stitch. And then you can just crochet the rest of the rows like normal, and it leaves it with a beautiful and nice, wonderful thing. And that is how you tapestry crochet. I will go through it a few more times, but at a more normal speed. So again, we're at the end. So you insert the hook, pull the yarn through, change the color change to the new color, whatever that is for your project. Pull through and then do the stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again on the last stitch, don't just yarn through, take the color that you need to change it to, whatever that is for your project, pull through so you complete the stitch, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and then again on the last stitch, pull through, change to the color that you need, and pull through. And then you can keep on stitching. Now you'll, again, look how messy that is. But see, that's fine. Like say, for me now, this green is I'm not gonna need it again until the very end. So I don't have scissors up here. But in theory, what I would do is I would cut this piece of yarn so that it would hang down, and then I would just do the same thing to join it, but just on the other side so that I don't have all of this mess. And I will periodically do that with each of the yarn as these get tangled. I'll just cut them, and it kind of makes it look like this. But you can, you know, if you want to weave in the ends, you can. With the Taemin sweater, I did not weave in the ends, and it was fine. It just obviously is like, couldn't be maybe commercially sold like this. But that is how you tapestry crochet. Lesson over. As we got farther into the piece, you'll see, of course, the back gets significantly more messy. There's just way more pieces, or way more yarn chunks. And I definitely started cutting the green yarn, just to so that there wasn't these huge long pieces. Because I could have traveled with the yarn. Is that what it's called? Where you like stitch with the yarn together. I could have done that for this whole piece, but I was like, I just don't want to, I was worried that was make it too bulky, even though I'm not going to weave in any of these ends, so maybe it wouldn't have mattered, but I just found it was easier not to have to deal with the weave like that at all, and I would just cut the yarn whenever I needed to with enough length that even if I don't weave it in, like, it's not gonna do anything, or it's not gonna like pull apart or come apart at all. And this is not gonna be a sweater that I'm gonna be like doing extreme activities in, so I wasn't really worried about it, or washing, actually. Like, I'm not gonna ever really wash in the washing machine this sweater, so I'm not that concerned about like the durability of it. I want it to like not fall apart when I'm at the concert. That's my only goal. If I can make this and I can wear it for one night and it doesn't fall apart, I will have succeeded with this. But also, as we went up, it also got a little bit faster, because to make the armholes, you would stitch together a couple of the stitches so that I ended up having less across, which was lovely. Again, I was following a pattern for this, so I just followed when they said to start decreasing the stitches. I just did it like that, and that really worked out well. Using that pattern was great. You can just use any pattern, like find any sweater pattern, and then just ignore everything except for the amount of stitches, like lengthwise, and then when to start making the armholes. Unless you know how to make clothing better than I do. But that was my problem with the Taemin sweater, because I didn't know what I was doing. I made it like way too like weird and big, and it doesn't fit like the best. But this fits significantly better. So that was a smart decision on my part, using the pattern. Who knew that maybe a pattern would be useful? You know, not me, apparently, but it was. It was very, very useful and lovely to have a pattern to follow. So I will definitely be doing that going forward until I get maybe more comfortable fully creating my own patterns. We're not quite there yet, though. Clothing is definitely not something I'm very good at. Oh my god, you can tell here that I think I made a mistake, so I'm like counting all the stitches a bunch of times, because sometimes that would happen where I was like, where did I make a mistake? Oh yeah, see, you can see that I'm frogging a bit here, so I must have made a little mistake, because sometimes I was like, am I missing a stitch? Or I just, you know, I changed colors one stitch too late or something. Sometimes that happens. And honestly, sometimes I would do the count and it would still be kind of wrong, and I would be like, well, oh well, that's fine. Nah, I mean, it looks fine, so who cares? I finished the front panel. It's done. Look at it. It's cute. I feel like I don't necessarily know if I like this as much as the Taemin one. I think I'm thinking like now, because I didn't have the black outline on this part of the hood. I kind of think I shouldn't have had black outlines at all. I feel like it makes it look kind of messy. And the like light pink is a little bit light, so it's really hard to see on the white, like their little mouths. But like overall, I think it's really cute, and I think it'll be cute to wear, and like I'm still happy with it. But I think if I was to do it again, I would not have the black outline. I would omit the black outline and just have like the black be like the collar and the eyes and eyebrows, and leave that where it is. But it's done. We're done. Don't look at the back. It's, you know, it's just how it is. Am I going to weave any of these ends in? No. We're just going to look at this side. Look how pretty. So now I just basically have to do a back. Now, the back I am thinking of doing is this, which is his like Jingu logo. But I don't know. The tapestry crochet just takes so long. But we'll see. We'll see. But it's gonna be still like with the green, and yeah, I'm just so excited that I'm done. Yay! Just half of it left, and then I'm done. And then we moved on to the back panel. I was so excited for this because not only obviously is it much easier because there's only two colors, but also like the Jingu logo is so cute. I was so excited. So yeah, this was a significantly easier thing to do. And it actually, even with like the yarn lines, they look a lot cleaner because I didn't have to cut the yarn, I don't think at all, because there was only two, or no, maybe I did in between. I might have done it in between the big sections of green in between the white, but like for the most part I was able to keep the white kind of like together, and it looked, so even the back looks cool. I lost one of my stitch markers, so I had to use an earring back, which only kind of worked. It did kept falling out, but like we made it work for the time until I found my stitch marker. But I was so excited to work on this back because this would have been my first time like actually having time to make a front and a back, and like that's definitely the way I'm going to go forward. If I make the other three members, which I probably will in some capacity, I will definitely make a back panel as well. Like I think for Keys, like I would like, Buxley's my favorite character, and so I feel like even though he doesn't necessarily maybe have his own, or he does have that Love Little Freaks like back patch that he had on one of those jackets, I could do something maybe like that on the back. That would be cute. But like I think all of them have enough of a symbol that there's something that I could put on the back. I wish they all had their own individual fan clubs. Although I understand, although I love the shiny one too. Like I wish they had the shiny one and then all individual members. Just for me to spend more of my money on shiny, I guess. As you can see, I'm at my parents' house now. It's a different time, but I just wanted to show you the update. So this is the back of the sweater. So we're basically just finishing the little like loopies. They're basically just like these little pieces, but I think it looks like really cute. I think that I think that that looks so cute. For a back of a sweater, I have been very impressed. I'm sure I'll mention this more than once with my edges. Look how straight those are. That's so crazy. Don't mind this little one extra stitch on the very bottom, but otherwise, wow. And like my stitches are so straight. This might be among my straightest crocheting that I've ever done, but like I'm so excited. And then I have the top bit here. Oh, it's gonna look so cute. I'm so excited. We're like almost done. And well, then I have to put it together. And then for like the ribbing, I was gonna do a different color, but I might end up just doing green because I do have kind of a lot of green, so it might just be all green. But we will see once I get there. But this is the update. Look at it. It's so good. And then we were kind of on the dawn of the last day. I surprisingly, even though I was driving out to Calgary the next day from this, and the Calgary for me is like a 14-hour drive, I was really determined to get the back panel done by the time that I was going, just because then I wouldn't have to worry about it by chance unraveling or anything. And I believe that I got it done. I can't exactly remember, but like I think I got her done, which is very exciting. And then I only had to like do the ribbing on the back, which I do show how I do the ribbing a little bit later on. And yeah, I like kept looking at this, especially this back panel. The stitches are so straight. I like couldn't, I'm sure that I mentioned this a couple of times, but I'm like, my tension has, I mean, when you first start crocheting, you always know like your tension can kind of suck. That's like the biggest thing that is like the biggest factor in early crocheting is like your tension's all over the place. And so I felt like with this, like the tension just looked so good. I was like, I'm a genius. But like not actually, but like it just looked, I was like, wow, like I was just impressed. I think because it was single crochet that helped as well though, because I definitely, my tension can be a little bit weirder when it's like a double crochet because you always have more of a chance to like loosen or tighten the tension. But the single crochets were just like so nice. And like my hands didn't hurt doing it. That's how I know that my tension's good, is if my hands don't hurt. If my hands start hurting, I've gotten too much tension and it's too much. But yeah, this was just, oh, I was so happy to do this. And it's like, I'm not like that much of a fashion person. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing when it comes to fashion. And I see people who make these cool outfits and I'm so jealous all the time. So I feel like this is like one way that I can kind of like experiment a little bit fashionably and like try something a little bit new and also like, you know, make something that nobody else has. Like, that's pretty fun. And it just gives me like something to do with the concert, because I love making freebies. I didn't have time to make any for ONEW and I wanted to so bad, but they're like, it just takes a lot longer to make a bunch of freebies. But this is something that I was like, I could wear forever, so it feels like more of my time. And like, it's just so fun. I would love to make more of these kinds of things. Like, if anybody ever wants to commission me to make them like a sweater for a group, for like a concert, I would be so happy and excited and down for that. And that'd be so fun. The problem, of course, with crocheting is that it takes a long time and so can be kind of expensive, but like, I would absolutely be so down if you're ever interested. DM me on Instagram. That would be so fun. I would be so happy. So this is a great look. This is my very tired look, but this is what it looks like just where it is on this, and then the back, you can see. Very cute. It's pretty like short, which I assumed, again, I'm following like a pattern, and I find that the neck, this is hard to hold, the neckline is kind of wide. Like, I think when I did the Taman one, I think I started the neck a lot shorter, so this neck is quite like wide, and so I feel like because of that, then like you do this and it's like, it like bunches up, you know, here, like, so I'm hoping that if I do the ribbing, I can make the ribbing a little smaller, just so that it hopefully lays a little flatter, and then it'll be a little bit longer as well. I'm gonna wear a shirt under it. Like, I'm not just gonna go to the concert like this, even though I'm sad I won't be able to show my tattoos off, but I'm gonna be wearing a shirt under it, so it'll work no matter what. But like, it's so cute. So cute. And then oh my gosh, and then he. Oh, I'm so happy. So yeah, this is the wonderful and how it looks, and so now we just have to do the ribbing and then we'll be done. I'm so excited. So I finished the top ribbing, and that was absolutely the right decision. I did try it on, but you'll see it later, but it fits much better with the ribbing. So I'm going to do it on now that I've done it on the top, I am going to do it on the bottom and on the sleeves, just so that everything is even. But yeah, it looks so good. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Yay! All right, so this is like not a great angle, but I don't have a tripod with me, so hello. I wanted to try to show you how I do the ribbing. I'm working on the bottom half of the ribbing for this, and I just wanted to show you, in case you've never done ribbing. Again, this isn't really a tutorial for this sweater, but how you do it basically is, this is all single crochets. This whole sweater, all single crochets. That's crazy. You can do this with half double crochets as well, because that's how I normally do them for like my hats and stuff. It just for this sweater, since it's all single crochets, it makes sense. So, oh god, how am I going to show this? Okay, so see, because this is what ribbing looks like, right? So it like has some stretch to it. It's kind of like bumpy. Yeah, that's how that looks. Okay, so, and how you achieve that is so normally, if you're a crocheter, here we'll go from the back. Hopefully this makes sense. So normally, if you're crocheting, you would crochet like in the loop, like there's like the V. Oh my gosh, this is very difficult. Okay, so there's like the V at the top, right? So normally when you crochet, you would stick the hook into the top loop, like there's the little sections, so you'd stick it in between each of the V's, and that would be how you'd get a normal stitch.
but we're not trying to do that because we're trying to get the ribbing look. So instead of sticking it through the V, you stick it, you'll see that there is, so you see like there's like this space up here, and then there is this like horizontal stitch right here, and that's like part of the, it's called like the back loop only, or the back loop. So you insert your hook into this stitch, this little horizontal stitch. That is what you single crochet out of, and that is how you get the ribbing. So again, let's see if I can show this. So we'll start, this will be the first, oh my gosh, my big old thumb. So this is the first stitch in there. So then you're sticking the hook into that back loop, and then you're just single crocheting just like normal. And then again into like that back horizontal loop. So like if you're looking at it from the right side, or from like the side that you're going to crochet on, it's like if this was like the top loop, it's like the middle, it's like the middle loop. The middle horizontal loop is what then you stick your yarn or your hook into, and then just do a normal single crochet. And it's one of those things, like it can be kind of confusing as to where you put your hook, but once you do it, then you can do it forever. And ribbing is great to add to anything. Bottoms of sweaters, cuffs of shirts, hat rims. It just can look so nice like that. And then how I'm doing it to like attach it to the sweater is I'm taking the stitches at the so like the initial row of stitches that I did, at not these big ones right here, but like the small ones on top, like where because this would be my first chain. So I'm basically so I have it started from this chain, so then I'm gonna stick the hook into this chain and do a slip stitch, and then I'm gonna stick it into the next one and do a slip stitch. So I do 2 slip stitches and then go back up and do the ribbing. So it's 2 slip stitches, ribbing, and that's how it gives it that kind of like tight, like, oh, that kind of like tighter feel, like, so that there's some like stretch to it. So it's because the problem is, I don't want it to be any bigger. I'm trying to make it like be a little, not smaller, but like just a little tighter on the bottom. But that is how you do that. So I have like quite a bit more of the bottom to do, and then again I want to do the sleeves. So it's like 9 o'clock tonight. Let us see how far I can get into this. I would love to be mostly done. I'm so happy with how it's turning out, but like I want it to be over. I want it to be over, and my neck hurts and my back hurts, and I'm just like uncomfortable. I don't know. So let us see how far we can go. Look at how close I was to finishing. I'm so sad. Oh, like, and then, I don't know what to do. Oh man, I don't know what happened, but you can see here. Maybe you can't. But like here, there's 6 stitches. Here there's only 5. I somehow like lost a stitch. And all of this, like from here all the way to here, I have to redo. That sucks. And I mean, it's only one stitch. I probably could leave it, but it's noticeable enough that I don't wanna. That's so sad. Oh, and I was gonna finish this and then go to bed. Now I'm gonna have to go to bed without it being finished. Oh, you can't even see. That's how distraught I am. I don't even care about the camera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's literally right here. So, because I do not want to remove more than I had. Oh my god! Oh, that's so far. I'm actually, oh my god. This is the most tragic thing that's ever happened to me. This is the first time in this project I've had to frog anything. What happened? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, what the? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 5, 6. Okay, and let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then that should just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Six. Is that where I made a mistake? Did I make it look funky or something? I don't know. I don't know. It's so sad. That's like the saddest thing that's ever happened to me. The fact that I was almost done. Thank God it wasn't like, I mean, honestly, if we're being super honest, if it was any less than this, like if I had made the mistake like here, I would have just left it. But this is like enough that I was like, okay, it's not half necessarily, but it's enough that like, yeah. So, well. Okay, so I am in the bathroom now because we're going to attempt to wet block this. Just because, like, some of the, it just looked a little stiff, and I'm hoping that I can relax it a little bit. And I have the time right now to let it dry. I don't have any, like, pins or anything, so it's really just going to be kind of laid out and hope for the best and hope that it'll dry, because in my experience, I've had times where it's, like, not done that so well, but I just have water. I don't even have like dish soap or anything because I'm in a place, but I'm just gonna stick it in here in the bath and just let it soak for a little bit of time and then take it out and use a towel. And yeah, we're just trying our best. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna see if it makes no difference, then that's fine.
because it is, but if it makes even a little bit of a difference, that'll be great. So I'm just, okay, I'm gonna let it soak and die in the bathtub for a little bit to really let it get in there. With that, here is the finished sweater. I'm really happy with it. Like, I think that it is such like a fun idea. And again, it's like a fun, unique thing to do for like a concert. You know, I did get a group photo with ONEW. I will insert my photo here. Why do they take it on a phone? Do you know how much money people paid for these VIP tickets to take it on a phone? Like, you really couldn't bring, I know you had limited staff, you couldn't bring a camera, like a point and shoot camera. And unfortunately, a little bit, my outfit was kind of covered because the person next to me had a flag and I was kind of almost cut off at the end, but like, it's fine. I'm still in the photo with a Shiny member, which I never ever thought would happen ever. Like, there's never a moment in my life leading up until that moment where I thought that that would ever happen. I never thought I would be that close to a Shiny member. I never thought I would be in a photo with a Shiny member. I never thought I would own a signed Polaroid. If you want to see my Polaroid, check out my other channel where I did an unboxing of the album and I showed some of my stuff and I got a signed Polaroid from ONEW. Like, and the concert was so good. So like, the group photo, again, have I had better group photos? Yeah, but I still got one with a Shiny member. So like, I'm not that bad. Like, there's also nothing I can do about it now. So that is that. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with this. I think that like the front and the back turned out really nice. Like, the whole outfit, I love this dang bag. I did realize I probably could have brought my little pineapple bag instead because of Piney. That would have been cute, but dang is such a cute addition. I'm carrying this, even though I didn't actually bring this to the concert because I forgot the thing that holds the batteries, so I couldn't use it, but I have this is a light stick, and so I just used that, and that worked totally fine, and yeah, it was just so good. I'm so happy with it. This is really proof that, like, you can do anything, and, like, just try. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, just try, and then some things you can come up with things. There is things that I would change about it, of course. I think that I've mentioned before, like, just to wrap up, like, I definitely should have made the top. I shouldn't have followed the pattern or changed the size that I was going for the pattern for the top part because I'm a lot more bottom heavy than I used to be because I got a breast reduction in August. Which, ooh, it's almost been a year, I guess. Well, not really. It's close-ish to a year, but so it's like, so I need it bigger down here, but I could have then made it and made it narrower up here so that it didn't bunch as much. And because I found that myself, I kept having to pull it down so it didn't like bunch up. But otherwise, like, I think that everything looks really nice. My stitching is so even, which I'm really impressed with. Like, just because, like, that's not something that always happens with crocheting, but like, I think it just looks so cute. And like, I loved the skirt that I wore because I wore the pants to him in, and the skirt just felt much more like soft and cottagecore-y, which is much more like ONEW's vibe. And yeah, it was just awesome, and I'm just so happy with this. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. And yeah, I hope that if maybe this inspired you to make something like this, if it did, please tag me on Instagram. That I would die. I'd be so excited. I will leave this, is there a way, I'll see if I can find a way to leave this pattern as like maybe like a link below somehow. So like, if you wanted to take the pixelated image of this, feel free, have at her. you can use it. You can make a tote bag or a pillow, do whatever you want. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope to do more stuff like this in the future, because like, again, the world is my oyster now that I can kind of tapestry crochet. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in whatever the next video is. Bye!